There was a time when a woman's silence was considered grace, when her quietness was mistaken for dignity, when her ability to endure without a word was labeled as strength. But I ask you today, what kind of strength is it that requires a woman to disappear to be respected? For centuries, we've been told to be quiet, to smile even when we're broken, to nod even when we disagree, to say it's okay, even when it isn't. And somehow we believed that our silence kept the peace. But my sisters, that was never peace. That was control. That was fear dressed up as harmony. They told us our opinions were too emotional, our tone too loud, our anger too unbecoming. So we learned to whisper our truths behind closed doors. We journaled what we couldn't say out loud. We cried where no one could see. But what the world never understood is that silence doesn't mean surrender. Silence builds pressure. And when pressure meets purpose, something powerful is born. Today, that power is rising. It's rising in the voices of young girls refusing to be silenced. It's rising in mothers teaching their daughters to speak with courage. It's rising in women who finally say, no more. So when will the world listen? The truth is, it will listen when we stop asking for permission to speak, because we were never voiceless, we were unheard. And now our silence has turned into strength, our whispers have turned into movement, and our pain has turned into power. And once a woman finds her voice, the world can never go back to silence again. When a woman finally decides to tell her story, something in the universe shifts. Her voice carries not just her pain, but generations of women who were told to stay silent. When she speaks, she doesn't just speak for herself. She speaks for her mother, her grandmother, and every woman who was ever told that her truth was too much. But the question is, does the world have the courage to listen? Because a woman's truth isn't always comfortable. It challenges the systems that benefit from her silence. It disturbs traditions that were never meant to serve her. It demands accountability in a world built on her invisibility. And that's why her truth scares them, because truth exposes power. Yet there is something divine about a woman's honesty. She speaks not to destroy, but to heal. She speaks not to divide, but to awaken. Her words may shake the room, but they also mend the world. Because truth, when spoken by a woman, becomes a mirror, forcing everyone to face what they've ignored. We must create a world where women don't have to shout to be heard, where their no is final and their yes is respected. Where a girl's dream isn't dismissed as fantasy, because when women speak, they do not just share stories, they shape nations. So when will the world listen? When it understands that a woman's voice isn't a threat, it's a gift. Her truth doesn't destroy, it rebuilds, it redefines, it resurrects. And the day the world chooses to listen is the day humanity truly begins to heal. For generations, women's voices were treated like echoes, faint, fading, almost forgotten. We spoke softly, hoping someone would care enough to hear. But the truth is, echoes never die. They bounce, they multiply, they gather strength. And today, those echoes have become thunder. You can hear it in the footsteps of women leading revolutions. You can hear it in the laughter of girls who refuse to shrink. You can hear it in the resilience of single mothers, the courage of survivors, and the determination of women who refuse to be victims of their circumstances. This thunder isn't accidental. It's centuries of silence finally breaking free. It's generations of women saying, enough. It's the sound of balance returning to a world that has been one-sided for too long. But even now, the world still covers its ears, pretending the noise is temporary, pretending it's just a phase. But thunder doesn't stop for comfort. It doesn't ask for permission. It arrives to remind the sky that rain must fall, that change must come. So when will the world listen? When it finally realizes that this thunder is not chaos, it's awakening. It's not noise. It's nature demanding harmony. We are not asking to be heard anymore. We are speaking, marching, leading, creating, and the world will have no choice but to listen. Because the thunder of women's voices will keep echoing until silence itself disappears. Listening to women is not a favor, it's an act of evolution. It's the first step toward balance, justice, and truth, because every time a woman is silenced, humanity loses a piece of its wisdom. We live in a world that teaches girls to be careful but not confident, to be kind but not bold, to be seen but not heard. And yet, when women rise, the entire world benefits. We've seen it in politics, in science, in art, in families. Every time a woman's voice is valued, progress follows. But the problem isn't that women aren't speaking. The problem is people aren't listening. They hear us, but they don't understand us. They quote us, but they don't believe us. They use our strength, but they ignore our struggle. True listening means change. It means action. It means creating spaces where women don't have to fight twice as hard just to be believed. It means realizing that women's experiences are not emotional exaggerations. They are truth. So today, I don't ask when the world will listen. I ask when you will. When will you listen to the girl silenced in your home? When will you listen to the woman whose ideas are ignored in the meeting? When will you listen to your own inner voice, the one you've been told to quiet down? Because change doesn't begin when we speak louder. It begins when the world finally listens with the intention to transform. And when that happens, when listening turns into action, That's when equality won't just be a dream, it will be our reality.